There's deeper context here. Something people tend to not know. 4 months before the word of wisdom is given, Emma had had a child. She had an extremely difficult labor with Joseph III, so difficult she nearly died. So a familiar story is people know that the word of wisdom was given in the context of the School of the Prophets, 1833. And the men of the School of the Prophets met in a certain room, a council room, and the story I think Brigham Young tells is that the men of the School of the Prophets, remember, there's no word of wisdom, they were spitting their tobacco all over the place.
Yeah, we've heard that
during the meetings, right? And so spitting it on the floor, and Emma's cleaning it up, okay? And so this is one of the contexts in which the word of wisdom revelation is given, okay? Now, there's deeper context here, going back a little further, months earlier and looking at a broader picture. Why is this a big deal? So Emma has to clean up tobacco stains off the floor. I mean, it's grueling, grunge work, unpleasant, okay? But we all do unpleasant things in our lives. Why is that in itself
That's the story you hear?
Deal,
yeah,
right?
That's the story you hear.
So something people tend to not know is that just 4 months before the word of wisdom is given, or a little less than 4 months before the word of wisdom is given, Emma had had a child, okay? Her first child who survives. This is Joseph Smith III, okay? And she had an extremely difficult labor with Joseph III, so difficult that she nearly died. And Joseph Jr. was actually out of state. He was rushing back. He'd gone on a trip to Boston and New York City. He's rushing back to be there in early November 1832 when his child is born, and he misses it, just barely, okay?
He misses the birth.
He misses the birth, and he comes home, and Emma is close to death, okay? And she struggles with her health for months afterwards. She struggles for quite a while. It's in that time that the word of wisdom is given. Okay?
Interesting.
And the word of wisdom promises health in the navel, marrow in the bones, the ability to run and not be weary and walk and not faint. And it promises wisdom and treasures of knowledge. Now, interestingly, the word of wisdom here probably requires, so there's a context where Emma may have wanted to know and needed to know how to become healthier, right? How does she regain her health in this situation? And the word of wisdom would probably have required sacrifices from both Joseph and Emma, right? So Emma is probably already a teetotaler, someone who does not drink alcohol. She is a Methodist before she comes into the church. From the time she's a young girl, she's a Methodist. Methodists were influenced by the temperance movement. They did not drink alcohol, okay? So Emma probably brought that in with her, that she's a non-drinker, okay? Joseph Smith probably drinks moderately during this time. We know he smokes a pipe, as do the other men of the School of the Prophets, right? And they are chewing tobacco, right? So Emma probably drinks hot drinks, okay? Particularly common in the culture in general, but common particularly for women. I mean, at least in the Brigham Young's Utah sermons, he mentions a lot the women drinking tea and so on, right?
In the journals?
A journal discourse.
Okay.
So Emma would have had particular reason to try to get caffeine during this period from coffee and tea. She's exhausted. Her health is poor. She's struggling, and she's taking care of this baby, nursing her baby, right? But of course, trying to get more energy from caffeine, particularly when you're in poor health, is a losing battle because the body habituates to caffeine, right? It doesn't fix the underlying health issues. The body habituates to it, so you need more and more and more. We don't know. Very good chance Emma's essentially addicted to caffeine during this time, right? And so what she's probably trying, probably not working. Word of wisdom comes, and it gives health advice, and it's telling, here's a word of wisdom, a word to the wise. Here are things you can do for your health. The men of the School of the Prophets throw their pipes into the fire. We have that story. Well, maybe you know that they've actually dug out like the ashes that were thrown away from the fireplace, and they found the pipe stems.
They really found it.
They found them. Okay, so these are this is real.
That's accurate,
right? Like this is accurate. So Joseph and the men are making sacrifices. Emma's probably making sacrifices too for their own benefit, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's sort of immediate deep context for the word of wisdom. Then we have this like very deep context, right? You go back decades. We've got this story of Joseph Smith's leg surgery. Yeah, go ahead.
What about the Emma with the caffeine? Why do you feel that is significant? Because that is a fact that a lot of people don't know, right? Mm-hmm. And you think that she has that habit potentially. What was the connection that you have with that in her health in general? Why it would be important to her? What were you saying with that?
Oh, she had a really difficult labor and had not
connected to the labor. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have accounts that she was struggling with her health for months afterward. This is less than 4 months after that labor, so she would have still been struggling with her health, her energy, and
so it might have been a challenge for her to hear it, is what you're saying, more than it was just, hey, Joseph, we need to clean this stuff up off the ground. This is disgusting. We should consider this. Mm-hmm. I've even heard.
I think there's a more significant context than just Emma's disgusted by having to clean stuff up. I think Joseph is also seeing that Emma's having to do housework, and she's unable to. Mm. And actually, right around this time,
the run and I'll be weary. That's why that you mentioned that, right?
Yeah,
that blessing, that promise meant something to him.
Right.
Let's discover it. Is that what you're saying?
Right. And right around this time, the Smiths had a house girl, just like a servant, in-house helper, right, who would have been very valuable to him. She dies. She dies, and another one that they have gets married and moves out around the time. So
it's way bigger than just, hey, let's clean this up.
Right.
Way deeper.
Right. But Emma still has a child to raise. There are still household chores to be taken care of, right? Joseph is providing for them, running the church. Like everybody's got things they have to do. It's not a cushy existence. I mean, our lives, we still have all those things to do, work, household work, and so on. But we have it really easy compared to them because we have washing machines and all these things, right?
Yeah.
They didn't. And so Emma, life still goes on, even if you've got terrible health and no energy. And so Joseph is watching Emma struggle day by day. And this is part of the context in which, word of wisdom is given.
That's interesting. Yeah, it would have to be way bigger than just, let's clean this stuff up.
Right.
So is there anything that you found of what questions he was asking, or that's only what you can imply that he asked?
That's one thing that we can infer. There has been some detailed work done on other potential questions and contexts for the immediate context for the word of wisdom, looking at the different audiences who are implied or mentioned in the revelation, like the high council is mentioned as a specific audience. Joseph's dad, Joseph Sr., was on the high council, right, and others. And this is something that I've delved into. That's been so far on the back burner for me that that's something I'll have to kind of dig up more. I want to do more specific delving into that, more exegesis, working out the specific meanings in context of the word of wisdom.
So you're finding that there's more to it, and that idea and ability to go deeper helps you give you more power to what the actual revelation says.
Yeah.
And how does that make should we go back? Should we go back to when he was 7, or is there any other context that you think that you hear about that people make assumptions about, that some of what you've studied could help them clearly see it more clearly, more than just, hey, here's this list of all your stuff you can't do,
I mean, I think recognizing that it's not just a set of prohibitions, it's actually more general advice, divine counsel on how to be healthy, right? So you look at if you look at it in the context of Emma, right, and that she's struggling with her health, right, then seeing that the word of wisdom has prohibitions in it, things to not do, right? No tobacco, no wine or strong drink, and so on, right? The hot drinks, right? But it also says, the thing, all the like herbs in their season, the different herbs there doesn't necessarily just mean herbs the way we think of them. It includes that, but it also vegetables, plant foods, right? It encourages us to have that be the primary aspect of our diet over and against meat, right? Which it says eat sparingly and actually even only under certain conditions and so on. So seeing the word of wisdom not just as a set of prohibitions, but as advice for how to live a healthy life.